Welcome back to another video. In this video we're going to be looking at the Kia ProCeed GT, which starts at 37,590 euros. Our test vehicle is going to set you back just under 39,000 euros. In this video we're going to check out what makes this car so sporty. You gotta say the sound is actually very loud for the car with only 204 horsepower. So while you're driving through town, everyone's gonna look at you and think, oh, what's that crazy car? And then they see it's a Kia, which is not a bad thing. But do you really need that sound on this car? I don't know. It also gives me some childhood flashbacks where you were driving with your bike and you put a can, like a cola can, on the back of the wheel, and then you just ride through there and it does that like metallic car sound. That's, in my opinion, how the car sounds. Not only is the car loud from the outside, it's also loud in the inside, due to the fact that we obviously have that duplex valve exhaust system in the back. The engine in this car is a 1.6 liter four-cylinder engine, which produces 204 horsepower and 265 newton meters of torque, with a top speed of 225 kilometers an hour. The engine is supposed to be getting you from 0 to 100 in 7.5 seconds, so let's actually see how quick it can go. So in this we do have a fairly sporty chassis, which really is amazing in cornering. If you take a look at this, we can go around these corners at a very good amount of speed and really not lose any traction. And just the amount of speed you can carry through those corners is just amazing. And you really never lose any amount of traction here, and it just feels really great. You can really go through here, and I would have honestly not expected that from the price point that you're getting this car. Just the center of gravity and the way it feels around these corners is just amazing. Better than some other cars that we've tested, which are actually supposed to be a little bit more sporty. But the one thing I'm not a big fan of is just the amount of momentum you get out of the lower RPMs on this car. It just takes a long time with only 204 horsepower to really start kicking up. But once you're going those higher speeds, it really feels great around the corners. But it really does miss that little punch at the start, which I would have really loved if they would have just put like a 250 horsepower engine in here. It just would have made it so much more better. But also the grip that you get out of this, the cornering is just great. You can also obviously manually change the gears with the paddles on the back, or also if you want to switch this over, you can put it in there and you can manually adjust it. Which you can obviously do, but with the sound, it's a really good experience that you're getting from this car, and I don't know how to describe it. It's just really cool. Like, you did not expect it from this car. But in order to be so efficient around corners, you need to have a fairly decent CV value. So you need to have a car that is very dynamic, aerodynamically well made, so how well the air can go around the car. And this car has a value of 0.28. So let's check out what aerodynamic features the car has to get that CV value so low. In the front we do have some fake and some non-fake intakes. For instance, our grille in front is pretty nice with these chrome touches and the black and red touches, as well as the GT logo on the side, which does make it look pretty cool, and it's all real. In the bottom we do have some bigger intakes as well, which are all real as well, with a little lip on the bottom and a big sensor, which kind of looks like a lip in my opinion. And then on the side we do have fake intakes here, but with these red touches which you get on the GT. You do on the side also completely have, well, not completely, but you have, you have a fake and also non-fake on the bottom, which help with the aerodynamic flow towards the wheel. And then you have LED lights in the front, which is pretty cool. Let's go over onto the side. The color on here is the green metallic color, which is 650 euros extra. I'm not the biggest fan of it. In the configurator, it looked really bad, but in reality, it doesn't actually look that bad. But with the red touches, I'm not the biggest fan of it. On here, we have 18-inch wheels with some bigger calipers, and we also have the Michelin Pilot Sports wheel on here, which are pretty nice. We also have keyless go and some automatically foldable side windows. And again, some nice bar going down on the bottom, which looks pretty cool with the red touches as well. Then one thing I'm not the biggest fan of, you do have all of this in chrome, which doesn't look that bad, but this thing right here, I don't know why they made this. It looks like a shark fin that you have on the top of the car. I just don't like the look of that. I don't know why they put that in there. Let's take a look at the back, where you can see that it definitely is a coupe kind of sportback thing, which does obviously help with the value of the CV value, or the CV value. However, it does compromise a little bit of trunk space. In here we have big LED bar going through, as well as the brake light on the top, which looks pretty cool with a little bit of a spoiler. Then we do have some big exhaust in here, which we already checked out. And on the side back, we also have some fake touches right there, which look pretty cool, but they don't do anything. In the interior, we also have some sporty looks. For instance, we have this very, very nice leather on the seats, which are leather, and also velour leather in the middle, which is really, really nice. And I love the stitching, and then it goes up into the GT, which looks very, very nice. Love the seats. We also have GT down on the mats, which looks very, very nice. Just in general, very nice stitching as well. The wheel is amazing in my opinion. I love this wheel. We have GT on the bottom as well, and just the feeling of it's fairly slim, and you have the pedals in the back, which they don't feel the greatest. They're fairly bulky and fairly small, but in general the wheel is just amazing. You don't have touch controls on here, perfect combination of normal buttons and like scroll wheels kind of thing. And just in general, I love the touch of this thing. You also have a lot of red stitching throughout the car, for instance on the side here, and also on the gear selector down here, which just looks very, very nice and just makes the car feel a lot more sporty from the inside and special. I gotta say, the seats in the back are very, very comfortable. You have the same material as you have in the front, so the velour in the seats as well, which is really, really comfortable, and they just fit to your body very nicely. One thing I'm not a big fan of though is, obviously because it's a sport car, you usually sit fairly low in the car, but then you lose a lot of foot room. So your foot room is not that nice, and you don't have that much space on the feet. However, you do have a good amount of headroom. If you're a little bit taller, like above 190 or 6'2", you're probably gonna hit your head on the top, but it's completely good headroom. You also have some storage space in here. You have a USB-C in the middle. You also have climate control in the back. And then what you do have, you have heated seats in the back as well, which comes with the comfort package, which is only like 560 euros extra, which is very nice. A lot of cars don't have heated seats in the back, and this one does. You also, which is another nice thing, you have cup holders in the middle, but you can also flip over the middle console. So you can actually have a good amount of storage space in here as well. So you can put skis through there. But in general, very, very nice back as well. The ISOFIX points in here also very nice and easy to reach. So no doubt that this is a great back. Even though the car is a coupe or a sportback, it is actually fairly practical when it comes to the boot space. You also have an electrically opening tailgate, which is pretty nice. And the first thing you definitely notice in here is that you have this kind of rail thing in here, which is very, very practical. You can obviously also take it out if you don't want to, but you can move it alongside this rail and put anything behind it. So if you have small items in here, you can just put them behind them, and it basically is a rail, so it doesn't, or it makes the items not shift around while you're driving sporty, which we just did. So that is very, very nice, and I like the function. In here you have 594 liters of storage space, and if you have the seats folded over like we have now, we have 1,545, which is quite a lot actually. However, if you do want to put in some taller stuff, obviously because it is a kind of sportback in the back, you're not going to be able to put the bigger stuff in here, but you do really have a big storage space. As well, you do have a little bit of a bigger lip, which is not the nicest thing, and then a good amount of storage space in there actually. And under here we also have some stuff where you can put some stuff. So you actually have a very good amount of storage space in here. And in general, the interior really is nice in here. We actually have better quality than on a Golf R Performance, which is interesting. You get a very lovely steering wheel. The digital cockpit, obviously there's not much stuff to it. You only have two different modes, like I said, the normal and the sport mode, and those are the only thing that changes the layout of the cockpit. You do have the option of changing something in the middle, like showing how much you use, how much fuel you're using, how much you've driven, or your tire pressure, stuff like that. You also have an infotainment display in here, which is fairly big, does its job. A lot of physical buttons as well as some touchscreen buttons, which does work. It does its job. You have navigation stuff in there, so everything that you really need. You also have the JBL sound system in here, which is owned by Harman Kardon, or Samsung in general. So it's kind of a mixture between JBL and Harman Kardon. Nothing special, just a sound system, not compared to like an XC60 where you get the Bowers & Wilkinson sound system in there. But let's talk a little bit about the fuel consumption. So WLTP claims around 6.5 up to 6.8. Obviously, because it's supposed to be a sportier car, you're usually going to be driving it in the sport mode, and that is what I've been doing for the past couple of kilometers, or a couple of 100 kilometers. So my fuel consumption is currently at 10.7 liters. We have gotten it down to under that 10 mark, so around 9.8. I have seen some other tests where they really went for eco-friendly. If you're just going on the Autobahn and staying behind a truck, you can get it down to low 3-liter range, but that's obviously not combined or anything like that. So around 7, 6, you can definitely get it down to that, I think. You can definitely get the car down there. You just got to stay in normal mode all the time. You obviously don't have eco mode or anything like that, so it's a little bit harder, but you just got to really focus on trying to get it low. Other than that, usually you're going to be at around, I'd say 8-9 liters. That's what you're usually going to be driving with. So that's my final verdict on the Kia ProCeed GT. For the price that you're getting here, I think it's a very, very good car. It's practical. You can definitely take a family trip with it. You have a lot of trunk space. You have a pretty cool engine, which obviously I would have loved a little bit more power on the lower ends, but it does have a very good center of gravity and just is a pretty fun car to drive in general. And like I said, very practical. So in my opinion, it's a very good car to get for the price and also with the design. Hope you guys did enjoy. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, so we can review more cars in the future. We'll see you next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.